This week at CBS News, we are marking the new year by looking at where America stands on the most pressing problems facing our country. Katie Couric is here with more on this network-wide initiative, which is in association with our print partner, USA Today. Katie, good morning.
Hi, Harry. Good to see you.
Why this series?
Well, I think Americans are very curious about sort of marking time. We're beginning a new decade. Obviously, we've just finished a very, very challenging one. But I think this country finds itself in a position where it's got to remain competitive. There are many challenges ahead in really all aspects of American life, both domestically and internationally. And we thought this was a great moment in time to take a step back and to take stock of where we are and how we're going to come up with solutions to many of the problems we're dealing with.
Get the yardstick out, so to speak.
Exactly.
Right. So tonight, you really kick off the series in earnest and talk about jobs. What did you find out about jobs?
Well, you know, 9 out of 10 Americans we surveyed in a new CBS News New York Times poll said that they believe the jobs of the future will require different skills than we currently have. So Anthony Mason has been charged with looking at where will the jobs come from? How will they replace this deteriorating manufacturing base?
Right.
And how will workers be trained for those jobs? It's a really interesting story, and I think it will prepare the workforce of the future for what lies ahead.
It really is in a kind of a reality check, because it is so fluid and so changing, and there's so many people who are underemployed and unemployed.
That's right. 17% when you combine all those numbers.
Yeah. Among the other topics in the days and weeks to come, you're going to take a look at the military.
That's right.
From what angle?
Well, I think that most Americans in our poll, Harry, gave the U.S. military high marks. They think that the military is doing a good job waging 2 wars, but there are real concerns about whether it's stretched too thin. And how will the military deal with the current threat? You know, there are no longer traditional front lines in military warfare.
Right.
There are these global hotspots, really situations like in Iraq and Afghanistan that we've been dealing with.
Right.
So David Martin, who's a superb correspondent, is going to take a look at the challenges the military will be facing in the future. And by the way, later we're going to do a piece on how vets are being treated once they return home, because as you know, the incidence of PTSD is skyrocketing.
Right, and the ability for these vets to get compensation or relief from the VA, as illustrated on 60 Minutes this past weekend, is just
It is a travesty, and people need to be aware of it.
Yeah. Among subjects that I know that you are heavily involved with is cancer. What was the finding on this whole overarching where America stands? How does America look at cancer?
Well, you know, it's been about 40 years, I think, Harry, since Richard Nixon declared the war against cancer and thought it would be one of the most significant aspects of his presidency. And 3 out of 4 American families have been affected by cancer. Either they've gotten it or a family member has gotten it. So we're going to take a look at where are we? What is taking so long? Obviously, strides have been made and there are new approaches, but what are some of the most exciting new approaches? And of course, this is an area I'm particularly interested in. I'll be actually traveling to Dana-Farber after the show today to talk to some scientists about the genome and how genetics will possibly provide a key to unlocking the mystery of cancer.
All right, where America stands, we will be watching the CBS Evening News tonight.
Well, thanks. And we really are doing a lot of exciting pieces in the future, and I think people will learn a lot from it.
Kicked off great last night, I thought. It was great.
Thanks,
all right,
Harry.
Katie, thanks. Our first coverage of Where America Stands, a report card about the American family, airs tomorrow morning right here on The Early Show.